Welcome everyone to Skincare and Beauty with Perky Perkins. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a soft glam look that ideally could be done in 30 to 40 minutes or less. But also the biggest thing I'm focusing on is your prep and your foundation. That way you have a beautiful smoothless application that will last all day in this ridiculous summer heat that we've been having. So buckle up and get ready for our tutorial, and remember to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment. And thank you guys so very much. I just hit 100 followers. I know it's not a lot to some people, but to me it is. I'm so appreciative of you guys, and thank you. So thank you so very much, and again, stay tuned. Hey everyone, so I just wanted to let you know, as you can see, I've already done my eyes and I've actually primed my lids with the Wonder Beauty. Now I'm going to go with the Touch and Soul primer on my beauty sponge and dab it throughout my skin, and then pat it around. I've noticed when I do this, it actually absorbs better into my skin and it smooths out my pores and fills them in much nicer, so my foundation goes better. If you could see how much smoother it looks, because I do have quite a bit of pores. Next, I'm taking my Flower Beauty Supernova Elixir. I've been doing this for about a week now, where I apply it as part of my base on my 4 points basically. Then I just massage it into my skin, and it does give you a little bit of a dewy look, but not shimmer. It's just very dewy and moisturizing. When I do this, I've noticed that my foundation has worn much better, and it lasts longer and it looks flawless. I also go around it and pat it in again with my beauty sponge to make sure again it's absorbed all around properly, and especially tap it in through my cheeks and dimple area. So I allow it to set for just a second to make sure it's laid down. Now I'm taking my Makeup Revolution foundation in F7 and applying it throughout my face. Now you'll notice also that I do not apply foundation on my nose. I will go back with my brush, which I'll be using the It's Cosmetic N33, the triangle shape, to blend it out. And when I do that, I apply the excess onto my nose area. This way it's not too heavy and it doesn't get blotchy. Now I'm not sure if you're noticing, but because I waited layering my base, it's making my foundation look a lot smoother. It looks luminous and it doesn't look streaky or anything. But I'm a little OCD, so I do take my beauty sponge again and I just dab it all around just to make sure it's nicely set. And again, it fills in any nook and cranny, all the pores, and I want to make sure it's nice and smooth. Now I'm taking my Makeup Revolution concealer and I'm applying it around my under eyes to cover my dark circles. I'll apply it on the bridge of my nose. And my chin, a little stash area. This just helps brighten those areas up, so it kind of helps me highlight. I try not to overdo it. Then I go back with again my beauty sponge and start blending it out from the bottom and go all the way in. And I just lightly tap it in so it doesn't take away too much of the product. Looking up really does help so that way product doesn't get into your lids either, just as an FYI. The Makeup Revolution concealer is compared many times to the Shape Tape by Tarte, and I personally like it a lot. I actually used the jumbo size because Ulta does offer it on their website, which is like 3 times the normal amount to the regular bottle. And again, just make sure you blend out those areas as nice as possible so there's no creasing or, it's nicely set. Now I'm using the Pretty Vulgar setting powder and my Sandra brush from Hank & Henry. I'm going to be setting all the areas which I've applied concealer to make sure there's no creasing. I typically lightly dust it so that it doesn't move around. Next, I'm taking the Cataline Face Modeling palette and I'm going to use the 2 darker colors to do my contour throughout my face, and I just normally line it up to my cheekbones / dimple area, and I stay as close as possible to my hairline because I do have a pretty small forehead, so I don't want to take away too much. I also shape out the bottom of my chin area so it helps create more definition. Now I'm using that second medium tone color, again just for dimension around my cheek area. And then I'm going to use that mid-tone color again to just contour my nose. I know I'm doing it a little bit excessively, too thick I should say, but I will go back and clean it up. Next, I'm taking my Morphe brush and I'm actually going to be blending it out. I do a tapping and circular motion at the same time. This helps blend the cream contour without actually causing any streakiness, and it sets everything in very nicely as well. Now you want to make sure you get everything very well and you blend outward. So for my nose, I actually like going in with the sponge and setting it down. Next, I'm going back with the Cataline Illuminator bronzing powder that we got from Slay Glam box, and I'm just creating a little bit more depth again. This has a little bit of a shimmer tone, so it just warms you up a little bit more, and I'm just touching up my main points basically. And so far it's a very warm and dewy look. Next, I'm going to be baking and chiseling out my contour, and I'm going back with the Pretty Vulgar setting powder and using my Morphe sponge to chisel out both sides. I lined it up again to my ear and going down. Now I'm going to leave the bake on while I start doing my eyes. Next, I'm taking the Wonder Beauty Seascape palette and Now I'm taking sand dollar and I'm gonna apply it onto my crease and lid area. Now for everyone, you do it to the intensity that you choose. I'm using a fluffy blending brush for this application because it helps smooth it out at the same time. And like I mentioned again, you take it and you make it as intense as you want to. And once you get to the point that you're happy with, you can switch up to the opposite eye and you do it all over again. And as you can tell, I do try to pack it in a little bit more on the outer corners and then softly blend it in with any excess. Now I'm taking sea salt and I'm taking it into the crease slash eye socket area, and I'm wanted to make it warmer and a little bit more brighter in that area. I'm using a detailed blending brush just so that it's more precise. Now you do it to the intensity of your choice again, and then you take it to the opposite eye, and again just stay right into the socket area. And just make sure you keep blending it out as you're applying it. Next, I'm taking Coastal and I'll be applying it on my lid. I start off by patting it in slightly with my finger. Now this one did have a little bit of fallout, so I went back with my brush and I started patting it in. I'm going to be patting it in and blending at the same time, just a little bit, as you can tell. In this case, I only want to keep it underneath my actual lid, so I'm trying not to go to my crease, otherwise it's going to smear. And I actually added a little bit of my setting spray just to intensify the color because it was not blending out as nice as I had hoped. And adding that little bit of setting spray just really made that coastal blue color pop. And then of course we brush off the excess, and then again just follow it up and start off the same way on the opposite eye until you get the results you desire for the blue. Now that I'm done with the blue, I'm actually taking my original fluffy brush and I'm blending out the edges just so that they're not harsh at the crease. So this just helps soften it up a bit. And now I'm taking the original detail brush and adding more of the shimmery pink tone, the sea salt. And again, now I'm taking a clean blending brush and blending out the top edges closest to my brow bone. And now I'm dusting off my beak. And as you can see, it leaves the bottom all nicely chiseled out, my contour on point. Now I'm taking sea salt and golden reef, and I'm going to use it to smoke out my under eye just to add some depth to the bottom of my eye. And I typically like starting from the outside in, so that way it's tapers down. And again, you make sure you do it on both eyes. So now I'm gonna take Champagne Harbor and I'm gonna put it in my tear duct area for my inner corner highlight. It's a nice soft color that just really makes that area pop. Next, I'm taking my MAC Prep Prime Fix Plus to set my makeup. I then take the beauty sponge and I actually dab it down so that way there is no moisture spots and it actually locks in your makeup very nice so it lasts all day without any possibilities of streaking or your makeup caking up. Next, I'm taking my Alamar brush trio and I'm going to be using Castaway and Scorcher, mixing them together, and I actually tap any excess on my hand or wrist so it's not overly pigmented, and I try to line it up at the apples of my cheek and just above my contour line. And for anyone, I would always recommend, you can always go a tad bit darker, and if need to, you could tone it down with your setting powder. Next, I'm taking my IBY highlight in 24 karat magic, and I'm using my Morphe brush. I did spritz it a bit with my setting spray just because it makes it pop like instantaneously. And I placed it on my high points of my cheeks, my bridge of my nose, and above my brow bone. All right, we're almost done. Now we're going to the lips, and I'm using my Ofra Cosmetics liquid lip in Monaco, and I'm going to end up using Media. I got in the Ipsy Glam Bag Plus, and I outline my lips to the normal line. I do not typically like to overline, and once it's on, I just close my lips together so it blends out the edges. And then I apply the liquid lip just towards the middle. I try not to get to the liner. And again, just blend them together and it just really softens it up. Here's some swatches of the liquid lip and the liner. Next, we're going to Wonder Beauty's Mile High Club mascara. Personally, I've been really enjoying this mascara since I got it, and it's not clumpy, doesn't flake, it's waterproof, not water resistant. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I try to create a look that ideally could be done in about a 30-40 minute time frame. That's with all the steps in waiting and prepping your skin before application. Now, as I mentioned, this is meant to be for a nice, soft, everyday look. I ended up doing my eyes a little bit darker than I would normally do for an everyday, but hey, I got tempted. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and comment below and let me know what you liked, what you disliked, and what you would like to see next. And yeah, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Goodbye.